Morning, guys. Got some amazing news to share, which is I've just hit 1,000 subscribers. Woo! Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate it. It's only taken me 4 years, but I got there. Well, I say 4 years. I've been doing this videos on and off on YouTube for 4 years, but I never really had anything that went viral, I guess, on YouTube. I had some stuff that hit a few thousand views here and there, but my viral stuff has really gone off in China. That's where you got some videos. I got some videos in China that have got millions of views, but unfortunately nothing on YouTube. But anyway, we're doing it now. It's good to know that we're doing content now, getting the vlogs up there, and yeah, I'm delighted. Good to build the channel. The issue is, it's a bit shaky because I'm on the bike today. The issue is the watch time. So I still can't monetize the channel because YouTube requires 4,000 watch hours, and right now I have 300. So if all of you, this is my advice, a little lovely request from me is, if all of you can have these vlogs on a rolling playlist and just play it in the background, that's how I'm going to get up to the 4,000. And maybe if I have a video that hits, I don't know, 100,000 views. But unfortunately, that's how YouTube works. It's a little, I don't like to have regrets, but starting YouTube earlier, there was a time when I was about, I don't know, 18, 19, or maybe a little bit before that, YouTube was just becoming a thing. And I had the opportunity then to do some videos. And I know it would have been terrible quality. I probably would have been using, I don't know, less than 360 kind of quality, but at least I would have been getting content up. Because that's how these social media platforms work. They all work on how often you post, how much time, how clever are the videos. You know, are you doing kind of Mr. Beast style, very clickbaity, or are you doing stuff that's, you know, more vlog or podcast, whatever it is. But yeah, so it's all about the watch time. It's what I'm finding with my podcast as well. The podcast, Panda Profits podcast, giving it a plug now. The watch time, I think I've got about, it's like 2,500 hours, which is decent, you know, for a channel that's only got, I think it's got 400 subscribers right now. So 2,500 is not bad, but that's typical for a podcast. Ugh. Sorry guys, a bit loud. Building in the background. So, good news. Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. It's always good to hit these little milestones. And now it's all about the watch time. So, I was thinking, if this podcast, let's say this podcast is 30 minutes. So, if, yeah, let's say, 100 and, let's do the maths, 130, 140 people watch this podcast in its entirety, and hopefully the watch time should go up. Well, let's just say 1,000, right, let's say 500 people. 500 people watches this podcast, and they each watch it in its entirety. Surely that should go up, but I guess there's not 500 people watching it right now, but there will be. Because I don't see many people doing this in China, actually showing their lives and telling you what they're up to. I mean, they may show you the background, like, ooh, look at this, what's happening, but they're not actually, so they're not actually, I mean, I tell you all about my life, what I'm up to, business-wise, work-wise, what's happened. So really sharing what's happening. I know there's some people that are probably only interested in what's happening behind me, which is fine. But still, it's something. So that happened yesterday, which is good to hear. And although I will note, guys, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, or 300,000 in China on Chinese social media, so still got a long way to go. That's what I got in China, 300,000. The thing is, my short videos, they work very well in China, because generally I would say attention spans here are even less than in the West. So something like TikTok, you know, their videos, you've really got to grab their attention in those first few seconds. I reckon if you were to do a study of something like TikTok and Douyin, I'd expect Chinese audiences would probably switch off. They'd swipe quicker than they do in the West. But I'd have to look into it a little bit more. Anyway, yesterday, what did I do yesterday? So yesterday, did a bit of boxing in the morning, a little bit of cardio, and I trained my lower back and abs, did a bit of that, and then did a lot of work. Had a couple of calls. I had a call with a interesting British cosmetics company, which went quite well. They're interested in working with some live streamers, because I know some live streamers, Chinese live streamers on the different platforms here in China. So see how that one goes. I finally started getting some emails back, because I guess people are coming back from Easter in the UK, finally. I personally think it's been far too long. People have had far too much time off, and then it takes them, you know, it takes people like a week to get back into things. So if you think about it, Easter kind of mucks everything up for essentially about a month in China. I know I've been moaning a lot about Easter in these vlogs, but I guess it's because I have a different mentality. I have holidays to some degree. Like, I'll have a day off here and there, but I think if you switch off for a week from something, it is very difficult to get back into it. I remember having a break from the podcast for a week or two over Christmas and Chinese New Year and things like that, and even that week made the difference. So well, it's all about the consistency. But like I said, the good news is some schools have started to get back to me now. So onwards and upwards from now. April's always a telling time, because it's the time when accounts get submitted and budgets. Unfortunately, with the schools, the common response I'll get is, oh, we've already done our accounts up until last year, you know, we're not going to be deciding on account, which I always think is a bit of a cop-out. When someone says, oh, we've already assigned our budget, well, that's not a great response, I always find, because what if you come across a really cracking deal? You know, what if you come across something that is really amazing and really going to you know, change your business? You know, you wouldn't say, oh, sorry, we've got no budget, we're gonna have to wait another year for that. Like, you're gonna move, right? You're gonna hopefully invest. So had that. I got a call with a hotel group, I can't mention who, but a Saudi hotel group today. So I'm looking into Saudi Arabia at the moment. Saudi Arabia, Dubai as well. Dubai, I see that the immigration to Dubai right now is going through the roof like crazy. And then property prices obviously going up. I've got a few mates who are doing they're estate agents in Dubai, and that's one market. If you've been an estate agent in the last 1 or 2 years in Dubai, you would have made a killing on commission. May Newman, Shaoxing. So, oh, this is interesting. There you go, there's a lady selling hats. So, I mean, there was an option for me, I'd say about 3 years ago. I had a few buddies in crypto, I had a few buddies in real estate, a few people doing business in Dubai, and there was an option probably, 3 years ago to go. To Dubai, and I like Dubai. I think I've been there 5 times now. I had a good friend of mine, he used to work for Emirates, so I used to go out there all the time, and I really like it. I think it's you feel very safe there. I think it's a bit like China. It's a bit like China. It's like very, very safe, and you don't feel like anyone's going to pickpocket you or anything like that there. So it's got that. Weather's always nice. A bit of sun. But my heart was in China, so I decided to stay here. And a good decision, I think so, despite the fact what happened over the last 2 years. All my life is pretty much here. My boxing, just on the way to the boxing right now, so got a decent boxing coach. I've got Hanish for the yoga. Friends is one thing that I think as you're getting older, and I listened to Alex Hormozi about this, as your friendship circle tends to get a lot more smaller and tighter, which is something I've had to deal with over the years. This idea that when you're in a group of people, you're probably not all going to be in touch. Once you have a gathering or something like that, it's something that I've had to deal with. I'm a lot better now, but I guess when I first left school, I was like, oh, we're all going to keep in touch, right? And it's like, no, my father actually said about this at the time. He said, you do realise once you leave school, everybody just goes their separate ways and you won't hear from anybody. And he was right. I keep in touch with essentially one guy from my old high school now. Like regularly, we probably speak every 2 or 3 weeks. And he lives in Japan now. So we've kind of got that connection, kind of Asia. And then I speak sporadically to a few guys from my old school, probably once a year, once every 6 months. Yeah, people move on. People got their own lives. So you've got to find your own path. And high school, some of them, I don't know. Some people passed away. I found out that recently. Like every now and again, you'll check in with someone and say, oh, did you know so-and-so passed away, which is always a shame. People move on, they get married, they have kids. You just got to keep living your life. So the plan today is hit a bit of boxing this morning. Haven't been to boxing for a week, so I may be a little bit rusty. I'm still not I've got to be honest with you, I'm not 100% on my shoulder. It's still not quite there, And it all came down to me sleeping funny on it. So I got an injury, not from working out, but because I slept funny one night on it. So still sorting that out. And then afterwards, I may hit the gym afterwards if I've got time, just do a quick 45-minute session just of weights. Because that's something I haven't really been doing. I've been doing my boxing and then stretch and then go home. And I haven't really, I think you got to do a little bit outside of boxing on the day as well. So I'll try and do that. I'm wondering whether I should do that angle. And then you do that angle, then I've got to hold it like that as I'm cycling. It's just easier for me to hold it down here. And this afternoon I've got a call with my intern, 2 calls with potential clients. I might be filming the podcast tomorrow as well with potential guests. I had a guy reject me this morning, a guy who I thought might be quite good for the podcast, and he specialises in like China and doing business here, and his response was, yeah, I'll give it a miss because it's all about business. It's like, well, it's not all about business, it's also about living in China as well, exactly what you do. So he's one of those guys in China. I still can't work him out. You know, I'm not sure if he's just in it for himself or whether he's actually trying to build his community. I don't know the guy, so I've got to try and go along to one of his... He does an event here in Shanghai about connecting people, blah, 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 network. So, but yeah, I had someone recently contact me who I asked to be on the podcast like before Christmas, and now they see it's doing well. They've all of a sudden got back in touch with me and said, hey Daniel, I see that your podcast is doing quite well and it'd be great to discuss more. And I was like, oh, hold on a minute, you didn't support it from the start, so why would I want to have you on the podcast? And I actually told them that. I said, look, have you watched the podcast? Well, I've watched a couple. It's like, no, if you're going to be on the if I'm going to be on someone's podcast, I may not get a chance to watch them all, but I've seen bits and pieces. Like, I'd want to understand what I'm going to be on before I go on it. So, yeah, I kindly rejected that lady, politely rejected, and just say, look, I'm quite particular with who I have on my podcast now. I really want people that are going to support it and people that I know are going to share it afterwards, which is always a slippery slope. But I've had some people on my podcast that just did nothing, which is fine if the expectation is there. So I had some people that were like promised me, yeah, I'll post it everywhere, and then didn't do anything. They're like, oh, I'm a bit uncomfortable posting everywhere. People might see it. So, well, that's the point, right? That's the point of a podcast. Anyway, so I need to film that. But that's going quite well. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, the podcast's going well. It's not just about the numbers, it's about getting your face out there, but also it's brought in quite a lot of business as well. So always good to get yourself out there. They're building something new there, a new skyscraper. One of my friends the other day, so that building behind me is called K11, this one where my head is. That one where my head is now, can't do it, there we go, there, just gone. The one they're building. My friend the other day said, yeah, that's K12. I know, a little inside joke for people in Shanghai. But... Oh, it's a green light. Are we going to make it? Yeah, that podcast has actually brought in business for me. It's brought in leads and things like that. Ludong! The policeman just gave me a nod. He said, yeah, no problem. He just gave me, he went, yeah, that's fine. It's quite interesting. I gotta be honest with you guys, my experience with Chinese police has always been really positive. I'm not just saying that because I'm in China and all this stuff. I know what some people are going to say, but I've always, you know, they've actually been all right. You know, when I've had, I don't know, to sort stuff out. But no, I'm not a criminal or anything. But things like directions, that's what I was leaning towards, is, you know, they're pretty helpful. And they're English as well. I'm always surprised at the level of English the police here. It is really, really good. And those traffic wardens as well, they have to, the traffic police, they have to, you know, obviously, have to stand there all day. I'm always impressed how they stand there and so, oh yeah, last night I did play my guitar. Did a bit of reading, played my guitar. One thing I'm lacking at the moment is that stretch. I used to stretch a lot before bed, and I haven't really been doing that as much recently. I do it here and there, but having that consistency. This guy's got flowers on his roof. Having that consistency is key, which I haven't really been able to keep up. So, I mean, I always stretch after a workout. I've been able to do that I always do that, whereas I didn't. Probably in my early 20s, I would just stretch and then oh, I'm tired. Yeah, I would stretch and just leave, but now I'm pretty good with the old stretching. And May is going to be a very important month here in Shanghai. Lots of events, big expos. I've got lots of clients flying in, so it's going to be an interesting time, a telling time for business. So I'm seeing a lot of interest from British companies and other countries at the moment, particularly from schools, some B2C. Still very bullish on China, which is great to see. So I'll have some more updates coming up. I think this week I should close at least one more client as people are coming back. A lot of people are sitting on proposals and agreements that I sent them, so it's just about being diligent, not being pushy, but just checking in. Hey guys, wanted to check in, see how everything is. You got any more questions? These are nice up here. That's quite nice apartments. So work and play, that's the, well, say play, it's more workout and work kind of life at the moment. See how we get along with the boxing. And haven't had breakfast as well. I need to, it's always good to go into a workout, ideally on an empty stomach. You don't want to go in with stuff in the belly. It's not the best. I thought the vlog yesterday was interesting. It was quite unexpected, some of the stuff I found, so do check that one out. I thought that one would be we'll get a few more comments actually, considering some of the stuff I found yesterday. But sometimes these videos slip through the net. I'm not sure if I'm going to film like this in the future. It's quite far to cycle and film, but I quite like the cycling ones. Keeps you fit, keeps you ready. Get to see what's behind me. That brew dog there, I used to go there for meetings and stuff back in it when I was sales for a company. I used to go in there and let's have a beer. Not looking at all. But guys, I think I'm going to cut it there because I've got to get a move on for my boxing. But I will have some more updates tomorrow, I'm sure. Hope you guys are enjoying the vlogs up to day 23 now. See if we can go for day 30 days. And by the way, these buildings here, there's some apartments in there that are like 50,000 renminbi a month. So it's probably gone down actually recently because the prices have gone down. But yeah, I remember going. I'll tell you guys a quick story before I end this vlog. This was years ago when I first came to Shanghai. I put on a suit, looked like I had money, and I went to one of those apartments just to have I had a little look around and made out like I was, had some money and I was wealthy. And I went around there with an estate agent, and yeah, it was beautiful. They had a gym down the bottom, swimming pool. The bit I didn't like, well, the views are okay, but you couldn't really open the windows, so that was the bad side. But yeah, really nice furnished apartments, all this kind of stuff. And then I thought he was going to say maybe, I don't know, 20, 25,000. And he turned around and said, no, 50,000. I was like, all right. So, yeah, that happened. I don't know what the prices would be now though. Recently prices for rent have dropped in Shanghai, so now is actually a good time for moving. I was considering whether I should move actually. Go more into the city, more into, I don't know, past Xintiandi, kind of Shanxi, Nanlu, or a little bit further along, maybe into Jing'an. Because a lot of the stuff I do is in Jing'an. Boxing and the like. I think we're going to go for half an hour. Let's go for a nice 30 minutes. We're nearly there. Might as well get up to 30 minutes. And if you guys can all watch this on a rolling playlist. Yeah guys, really appreciate your support on these pods, on this vlog. I said pods, vlogs. Got my podcast in my head. Panda Profits Podcast, there we go. Plug. New buildings here. Yeah guys, really appreciate your support. Like, subscribe, comment, positive, negative, hate me, love me. Love me, say that you love me. And oh, it's very nice. And in for another vlog tomorrow. Just coming up to Shanxi, Nanjing Shilu, Nanjing West Road. Oh, Anyway, guys, maybe I'll do a little. Oh, boy. Anyway, I'm going to do one of those. That might be a thumbnail. Anyway, see you later, guys. Jayo, 再见, bye bye.